Alright guys, so I got the tranny out of this Ford Ranger, and on the previous video where the thing smoked like a bandit going down the road there, the reason for that was that blockage that was in the throttle body with the dirt dauber nest. What happened was that was in the throttle body, and after that point is where the vent hose from the valve cover went to. So when I was at full throttle trying to accelerate that thing, it couldn't suck air through the intake passage. So what it was doing is actually putting a lot of suction into the crankcase. Eventually all that suction built up and it wound up collecting oil up inside the valve cover, and that's what sucked into the motor, and that's why it like absolutely smoked out the entire road. So anyway, hope that clears that up for you. So I got the tranny out and I want to show you because the clutch was hanging up and binding, and all of a sudden it was fine and everything else. Let me show you what I got. So here's the tranny, and if you look, this throwout bearing is pretty well rusted up, so I'm going to bet it's hanging up on itself. Now I'm going to pull all of this apart and see what's going on. I'm also going to replace the clutch while I'm here, because I mean that doesn't look all that healthy, and kind of hard to tell here, but you can see the clutch disc in between the pressure plate and the flywheel. Sorry, dirt just fell in my mouth. Right in there. That's the actual disc. So, and that looks worn. So let me pull all this apart and see what we got. Alright, so I got the throwout bearing and I got the clutch apart. This is actually a super simple clutch to do. Look down here. I think this is just hanging up. You can see how rusted it is from when this thing was sitting. Now the bearing itself actually feels okay, but the way it was acting, I bet you anything, because this piece pushes in and out. The clutch diaphragm, the pressure plate, pushes this back. Hydraulic pressure through here pushes this outward to unlock the clutch. Clutch is basically like a brake caliper and a brake pad against a rotor. It's just backwards. It uses pressure to engage instead of pressure, well, basically to stop. So, and as you can see here, there's nothing left to it. The actual, you can see there's like nothing. It's almost on the rivet. It's not quite. It still had a little life left on it, but you know what? We're this far, we may as well put a clutch in it. So, just waiting for the new one to show up. It should be here any minute. And then we'll throw it together. Alright, so here's the new hydraulic throwout bearing, and if you look, I can actually compress that by hand. This one, yeah, that one's jamming up. So this one's going in. Now I got the new clutch assembly. Let me go grab that. Now here also, here's the new disc. And if you look how thick it is compared to that, like I said, this is just brake material really. So that one is just completely worn out. Alright, so let's get this in there. When installing a new clutch, always take the disc and install it on the tranny. Make sure it is the right disc for the tranny. Make sure it fits the splines correctly. I have seen it where you get the right clutch for the car, according to the book, and it doesn't fit. So here we have a perfect fit between the splines, and everything's good. So now we can assemble it. Alright, so we're all bolted up, ready to go back in with the transmission. If you look, see these? These are self-adjusting springs. They kind of tell you the condition of the fingers and the disc and everything, and the plate itself. As it wears and as it loses tension, this thing will actually shift over, and especially as the disc itself wears down.
Don't forget to tell Ronnie.
And actually, as you look at this one, you can see how far out this is from the spring. These fingers are the springs. That's what holds the tension. And you can see how far over this is going. That's from the disc wearing out and everything else. So now the new throwout bearing's in place and we're ready to go in. Alright, so we got everything assembled. I just split out the clutch. I got Mo up with the truck. Alright, hit the clutch. There you go, you see it actuate. Alright, let go. And over in this corner you can actually see it move. Hit the clutch. Alright, let go. And that's how a clutch engages. Or at least that's how the mechanism works. And anytime you bleed anything that's hydraulic, make sure you top off the fluid when you're done. If you don't top it off, you're going to wind up with a problem. Alright, so we're almost done with the Ranger here. And let me just show you a trick. I didn't even think of this before until just now. Let me show you this. It has to do with the shifter. On Ford shifters, if you ever go to take one of these off, they have this bolt that comes through. And you take the nut off on this side. Obviously, you take it off with a ratchet or whatever. And then it's got threads on that side. You won't see this part sticking through. But what you do is you take that nut, you put the nut on there, and you tighten it up. And what it'll do is it'll bottom out on here, and it'll actually draw this piece out. This is a wedge. See that? See that little wedge to it? And what that does is that just locks the shifter into that piece there. You see the receiving groove right there. So now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to reassemble it. You put this in with that notch facing forward, and it'll kind of self-center once it gets in there. You put the nut on, like so, and then we're going to tighten that bad boy up. Just hold on a second. Let me reverse my ratchet. And now you just tighten it up. Just like that. And if you look on this side, you'll see it recessed. So now that nut will act like a puller, and it'll pull that wedge out. So I actually got to glue the shift knob back in place. I'm going to do that when I'm done. It fell apart. All the innards did. So I'm just going to get myself some JB Weld. I'm just going to pack it with some JB Weld and stick it back on there after I get the boot on there. But I'm going to take it for a road test right now. So let's go. Let's see what we got. All right, so we're on our little dead-end road here. The sun glare is so bad I can't film it the other way. But let's... Clutch feels excellent. Shifts perfect. No issues. That's what I like. All right, I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. So that's about it. Ooh, look at that sun glare, it's bad. All right, so if you're getting anything out of my videos, hit the like button. If you could, please subscribe. Help me make better videos. Better videos. Help me with the content too. So, as you can tell, I don't rehearse any of this. I just kind of like fly by the seat of my pants when I do this. So, I'm not great with speaking. Just how it comes out. All right, guys. Hope you have a great day and keep wrenching.